All right, welcome everybody to the show. Hope everybody's enjoying their weekend out there. And it looks like we're good to go, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Fast and serious from the very start, so we can get right into the show. Very special show for you guys today. So, welcome everybody. Hope everyone is enjoying the beginning of their weekend. Today's topic: sex, drugs, and true love. Don't you like that title? I sure do. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? Well, that's because it is. Don't really see people talking about this at all, and this one's been on the back burner for quite some time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the reference for this stream is in my abuse series. I believe it's episode 8, Substance Abuse. Go ahead and check that live stream out in that playlist titled Abuse. All right, so we will be discussing the importance of being in a natural condition at all times when it comes to making love. We will also be going over how love is supposed to be made. Yes, there is a correct way in order to strengthen your relationship. Otherwise, you're just goofing around. Okay? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in to the first part of the stream. All right. First of all, no alcohol. You heard that correctly. No alcohol before, during, or after sex. That also includes any body or mind altering substances such as smoking, marijuana, or any other type of drugs. All these things do is intoxicate the body and hinder your connection with your partner. Let me explain. Oh, let's loosen up. You're a little tense. Okay, then give each other a massage. You don't know how? Go ahead and watch some YouTube videos. It's not that difficult. Or look it up online on a simple Google search. You shouldn't be dependent on any substances. That's the point. If you are to attain true love with your partner, that state of true love, which takes a long time, by the way, there is a process. That's why so many relationships fail, even marriages. Because in the background, behind closed doors, guess what they're all doing? They're drinking themselves like a fountain. With all this alcohol consumption, killing their physical health, and then they wonder why they can't sexually perform to their max the way they should be. And they find all types of excuses for their substance abuse. Oh, it's just a little bit. It's just a cup. It's just half a cup. It's just a sip. Stop it. Toss it away. Throw it away. Stop wasting your money on these things. You don't need alcohol in your life. You don't. Love should be your drug, should be your only substance dependency. It's not even a substance. But the substance of love itself, what it's composed of. That's why you have to understand what love is. That's why I wrote a book. That's why I created a 1-hour video course. That's it, people. It'll tell you everything that nobody's ever told you about love. Guaranteed. You haven't heard it before. The way I explain it. And that's the problem. People don't want to understand what love is. They just go out and they mess around. They have sex with random people. And then they get married to somebody who, I guess, whatever. Okay, let's get married. Let's have children. I guess that's the next step. Whatever. Life is whatever. Just dull and boring. And let's just go through the movements. I've seen so many parents having kids just to have kids, getting married just to get married. Completely lost in life. And then when you observe them, their natural behavior when they're together, it's so mediocre. I'm not criticizing them. It's just so obvious. It's painfully obvious that these two people in front of me are not in love. They're not showing any signs of love whatsoever. All they show is signs of companionship. Oh, hi, nice to meet you. This is my husband. This is my wife. This is my boyfriend. This is my girlfriend. This is my fiance. I mean, it's no pride in their voice. Nothing. Oh, and you can actually excuse them for just being formal. No, you can tell. You know, human beings are extremely intelligent. But the problem is when they lack that intelligence, that realization, that training, natural training, if you will. It's called the power of intuition. You're supposed to feel these things to be true, mentally and emotionally, and even physically, things that are true about yourself on a physical level through experience and connection, which is exactly what we're going to discuss today. Connection. So you have to toss out all these intoxicating things away from your life. And, you know, the whole marijuana craze, trust me, that's not worth it. I never smoke marijuana. It's not that I don't know. I don't have to know. After experiencing the maximum power of love that this life has to offer, I don't need anything else. It's the most beautiful, most powerful, just outrageous thing you can possibly experience. It's such an electrical connection. I mean, it's like to the point of like just barely on the edge of passing out, because that's how much pleasure you have with your partner. Like just almost forgetting your name. That's how sex should feel. That's how powerful it should feel. It should be a full body experience from head to toe. And if you're not experiencing that, sorry to say, you haven't mastered the art of sex, which is the heart of the art of love. It's sensuality with sexuality at the center. Sensuality's beating heart is sexuality. Everything to do with sex. Because sex is not just sex. Science is going to make it mundane and boring and doesn't mean anything, just meaningless. Life makes the word sex turn into making love. That's love. That's physical love. That's what sex should be called. Unfortunately, sex, the word exists, so be it as it may. All right. If you can't make love without first consuming some type of substance other than pure water, I highly recommend water. My goodness, your muscles require water. What do you think? Carbohydrates? Because they hydrate your body as well. You have much to work on. True love is nature's most precious gift, but you can't achieve it when your mind and body are corrupted by these toxins, by these poisons, these slow killers, taking years of your life away, one sip at a time. Now, am I saying avoid Coca-Cola, junk food, alcohol entirely? Yes, alcohol entirely. But if you want some junk food and a little bit of Coca-Cola like once a week, I get it. But even those things you should actually ultimately get rid of. But I'm not going to be the police here. I'm not going to dictate the way you should live your life. But what I will say is, if you get rid of the alcohol, because that shouldn't be a pleasure whatsoever, not even champagne. But if you want a little champagne at the New Year's, that's fine, but not a whole cup or whatever, but a small little cup, it just shouldn't mean anything to you, honestly. And neither should marijuana mean anything to you. Oh, but I have so much pain. Go see a physical therapist. Learn the art of massage. Giving each other massages. That's why you need a partner in your life, because you guys can help each other. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's not to use each other for your problems. It's to be there for each other. For whatever you need. You can't live life alone, people. That's misery and suffering right there. Living in denial that you don't need somebody else. No, you do need somebody else. And also, they keep you accountable for your bad habits. Lack of exercise. Lack of eating the right items most of the time during the week. And also, establishing that eternal bond of love. You know, the whole world should be talking about love. Almost 24/7. But that's the sad reality, isn't it? You ask people to talk about love, and they're like, nah, I'm going to talk about the movies, the music, the video games, the dogs and cats, you know, stress at work, which is fine. Everything has its place and its time. But if you're not passionate about the topic of love, forget it. You'll never establish a soulmate connection with anybody, let alone find somebody to attempt to connect with. So this stuff right here, drugs, which alcohol I consider a drug, it's not even necessary. And we'll go over one last one towards the end of this stream. So they all just corrupt your mind and your body and your emotions. That's what these substances do. So why even take a sip? You know, to loosen yourself up. Why don't you loosen yourself up? Learn to take a yoga class. Take a bunch of those classes. Learn to meditate. Do something. Stretch. Stretch yourself physically. Become more elastic. A flexible body means a flexible mind. A flexible mind means flexible emotions so that you don't get triggered ever so quickly over the smallest things. You can handle situations that much better. Substances, all they do, it's like painkillers. They just kick the can down the road. Kicking the can down the road until you hit a dead end. It's just like caffeine consumption. You need more and more of it, right? It's pointless. So why don't you just end it and go decaf? I love the smell of coffee, but I don't even drink decaf. I just love the smell. But I don't need it. And maybe energy drinks. Yeah, they taste great. I mean, but do you really need that stuff? No, you should eventually phase it out of your life. But I understand people who can't let it go. Okay, cut it down to once a week. And maybe eventually just once a month or twice a month, whatever it may be. But, I can understand energy drinks on that level because, it's not alcohol, it's not drugs. But what I'm trying to tell you is the major offenders here are what I mentioned in the very beginning. Smoking. I don't care if it's cigarettes or cigars. They're both bad for you. They're slow killers. Alcohol. Marijuana. And one we're going to go over in the end. So, like I said, you can't make serious love, natural love with these types of substances, greatly inhibiting your progress. Here we go. Here's the last one. Get to mention it early. Even taking Viagra is not a good idea. Viagra. Because there are so many other natural remedies. There's plenty of other remedies out there for any type of erectile related difficulty. Erection related difficulty. Half of the problem, in fact, is all in your mind and emotions. If you're unable to get a solid erection or even an erection at all. It's natural. It's nothing funny. I mean, that's just the truth. Maybe you're too stressed out. And the other half deals with your physical health, the status of your health, physical fitness, what's underneath the hood, your heart, your lungs. So why are you going to continue smoking if that's going to inhibit your lungs and your cardiovascular performance, even your VO2 max? And also arteries. So that's why you have to have a good diet, because your blood flow through those tiny little arteries. I mean, come on, people. What's important in your life? Because if sex isn't a priority, you're just cruising through life on the lowest level possible and convincing yourself that this is all life has to offer. And then you'll justify your misery by saying, who cares? I don't care. And then you'll have this loser, self-defeatist attitude, and you'll defend it because you're too ashamed of yourself to improve it, to take matters into your own hands. I don't want that for you. I want you to reach the maximum potential that you can possibly achieve in this life. And this stuff right here are the poisons. And they are going to be addicting if you're already on it. If you're used to smoking cigarettes or cigars or marijuana or Viagra, all these are crutches. Think about it. If we were naturally born undomesticated in the forest or in the grasslands, none of these things exist. It's just fruit from the trees and nuts and seeds and night and day, just like the animals. Do the animals consume Viagra? Look how fit a lot of these animals are. They drink water. That makes sense. There's no smoking. There's no drinking alcohol. And that's why a lot of animals, unfortunately, they're fitter than human beings, the modern human being today. How sad is that? So don't do it. How about you just train yourself to master the art of avoiding these substances? That's called being in control. You're taking life by the horns and saying, no, I don't need this garbage. And also negativity, your emotional health. If you're dealing with all this drama, senseless drama, online and offline, fighting with family, friends, strangers online, you don't need any of that garbage. And that's also going to hinder your performance in the bedroom. Also, if you're alone, if you're relying on masturbation for sexual satisfaction because you haven't found a partner yet, or maybe you're going through a breakup and trying to search for somebody new, whatever the case should be. I mean, there's always moving forward, right? That's what we have to do. Learn how to keep moving forward in life regardless of whatever happens. No excuses. That's in my book, by the way. A specific section called No Excuses. Very powerful. Now, when having sex, this is extremely important because this stream is about true love and sex, aside from the drugs, which is what's going to inhibit the maximum that you can possibly achieve. Maximum level. Turn off all possible distractions. No TV, no music, no cell phones or other electronics with notifications completely just turned off if they're going to be near you. Not even on vibrate. Oh, but my work, turn it off. Or don't have sex. Postpone the sex. Oh, but I'm on call. Okay, you're on call. But it better at least be on vibrate. But that's just horrible to even start with. You better think about changing your career. Look, you must be 100% focused on making love to your partner. I've been there. I've been on call when I was in the army. It's horrible. I mean, every time that I got back home, I tried to recenter myself, to try to de-stress myself. I've been there. I know that's why that's one of the major reasons why I stopped my army career. I said it's not worth it. Number one, I'm going to get blown up or sent home handicapped in one of these deployments, so my life is always on the line. Number two, always being on call and having these random 12-hour or 24-hour shifts. Yes, you heard that correctly. 24-hour shifts. Can you imagine that? You know how tiring that mess is? You know what that does to your body, your physical health? And many people don't realize that. That's why I don't really promote going into the military. I mean, the Air Force, I don't think they do this. I don't think they do 24-hour shifts. That's just an Army thing, I believe. In fact, I'm 99% sure. Probably 99.9. Depending on what your Air Force MOS is, military occupational specialty. But let me get back to it. 100% focus, people. So the whole being on call thing, you can't maintain that for the rest of your life. I don't care what career you're in. If you're a firefighter, policeman, detective, you're in the army, I would not think about making it a career because those careers are, it's only, even if you get married with someone, to reach the highest level of love possible, a soulmate connection, it's too much distraction. It's too hectic. It's too chaotic. It doesn't allow for a relationship to grow, to prosper, a healthy couple. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on. Now, I did say 100% focus. This is all part of your sexual health. Now, why is sexual health, why does it matter? Because that connection, that soulmate connection, it's not going to establish itself. And it's dependent on you and your partner, not just you. So your partner also has to be on the same page you are on. They can't have, and here's another part, they can't have any mental distraction. My goodness, all these thoughts clouding your guys' minds at random times or constantly and chronically, an everyday thing. That's why I mentioned my army experience, because it was so hard for me to just relax, always in tension. My muscles were always tense. Even the deepest massage from anybody was just not enough. Now, if you're not in that scenario, then there's pretty much no excuse. But if you feel like that's how extreme it is, that's what you have to fix first. I highly recommend changing careers to something that's not as stressful, because all those stressful jobs, I highly believe that they're supposed to be temporary. Do not make a career out of it. I don't care if you're working for that pension, that retirement, the 20 year, no. But those who actually achieve it, they go bald, their health diminishes, erectile dysfunction for men, mental and emotional problems for men or women in those careers. It's just too stressful. Even with the exceptions, the few that are exception, they will admit that their lives have been nothing but suffering and sacrifice and compromise. They're going to say it. They can't deny it. It's unnatural. It's extremely stressful. And that's what we're talking about here today. True love can only be attained through peace, tranquility, emotional positivity, and positive energy, and 100% focus on that soul level connection. That's the deepest level of connection. Anybody can have a physical connection just by having sex. Meaningless sex. Just body on body. Reach orgasm. Done and done. Anybody can do that. Well, reaching orgasm maybe might be a challenge actually. But for the most part, most people can just do that. I'd say 90%. But to reach that, even an emotional connection before the soulmate connection, that's what most people struggle on, that emotional connection. Because if you're tempted to cheat on your partner, or if you're walking around and you're like, wow, she's so hot, wonder what it's like to be with her, you don't have an emotional connection with your partner. And you need to work on that. It's one thing to think about it. It's another to actually do it, to cheat on your partner. Now it's ruined. It's done. There's no more connection. There's no possibility for a soul connection at that point. The moment you cheat on your partner, it's over. Or the moment you're thinking about cheating on your partner, then you're already going downhill. But there's a big difference between thinking about it and actually doing it. But even if you're thinking about it, you're on the wrong trajectory. You need to fix that. You don't have a strong emotional connection with your partner. But it requires both of you to establish that connection. So, when we focus 100% on anything in life, in fact, we not only improve our performance and what we are focusing on what we're doing, but we also become that much closer towards mastering whatever it is that we are focusing on. And that's what perfection is all about. So when I say perfect soulmates, I mean a perfect connection that's indestructible. Nothing could possibly destroy or even damage your relationship with your partner. That's what perfection's all about. So, if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't believe in perfection, well then why does the word exist? Tell me that. Riddle me that. So you need to believe in perfection, because that means you're going to work harder, but smarter. And once you form these connections with your partner, they cannot be defeated. They cannot be removed. Now you earned it. You ever heard that saying where it's yours forever? I earned my college degree. Nobody can take that away from me. That's the saying. Nobody can take away that connection once it's established. And nothing should not ruin that connection. Only you can allow anything else to ruin that connection. You can always Control-Alt-Delete yourself, as someone put it nicely. That connection. So, sexual health is all dependent on your willpower to succeed. Both of you, though. It's always times two. A relationship's like looking in the mirror. You guys have to move in tandem, perfectly synchronized. So, but if you guys are in your own little worlds, that's greatly hindering your progress and your potential as a couple. Focus on physically and emotionally synchronizing with your partner. Move together as one. Go nice and slow, especially during sex. Now, if you guys want to go a little faster, look, I get it. But the majority of the time should be nice and slow. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to form that deep connection. Never rush the art of making love. Does anybody give a massage really quickly? No, nobody does. You put the candles and the music on, you get the oil ready, you prep up your client, if you're a masseuse, and you start with the massage. Nobody wants a fast massage. Especially women out there. Nice and slow. Now, do a lot of women like it fast? Yeah. But you know what I say? They got some issues to work on. It's okay for a little quickie here and there. Look, I get it. I understand. I'm not foreign to the topic of fast sex. But the majority of the time should be nice and slow. Perfect sex is by far the most powerful part of a soulmate relationship, in fact. Because you're making love to each other on the deepest level possible. You can't just hug and kiss each other. You can't just say words such as vows during a wedding, in a wedding ceremony, to have and to hold forever, yada, yada, yada. Those are words. Actions speak louder than words. So it's not only what you choose to do, it's how you choose to do it. So if you're having quick sex all the time to get it all to orgasm, just pound it, right? Ground and pound. You're rushing. Why are you rushing? It's like a party. Do you rush a party? No. What's the saying? I wish this moment can last forever. I'm having so much fun. That's what sex should feel like. So if you're rushing, why are you rushing? I mean, it's not an exercise like you're in the gym, sweating all over each other. Maybe once in a blue moon, it's perfectly fine. But you guys have to control that energy. It's too much heat. So you have to learn how to control that energy and spread it out. You know what I'm saying? Spread it out. Take it nice and slow. Enjoy it. I mean, you don't like to eat fast, right? Because it's not going to sit well in your stomach or in your intestines and digestion. Take it nice and slow. Nobody likes to eat on the rush. When you go to a restaurant or when you cook a nice meal at home, what do? When you savor every bite, it's all about the quality, not the quantity. So with sex, it's all about the experience, that pleasurable, emotional level. I mean, I'm going to get down to it. So why is all of this so important, by the way? Because passion, here's a key word, is only developed and mastered by those who take sex to the highest level, where you'll even shed tears of joy. You heard that correctly. Tears of joy as you attain maximum pleasure with that soul connection. If you never cried tears of joy while making love with your partner, you haven't reached the soulmate connection. Yes, it's supposed to happen. You thought tears were only meant for crying and lamenting over negative things? Wrong. They're not just there to lubricate your eyes either. Tears are also emotional. What happens when you see something beautiful? You cry, right? Maybe a newborn baby. Now you're a father. Now you're a mother. Why do people cry during happy moments? Why do you cry when you find something so hilarious? Even the emoji has it, the laughing emoji. Tears. So during sex, you're not laughing. You're not lamenting. No, you're happy. When somebody's truly happy, those tears will pour down their cheeks of their face. I've even created some beautiful videos as a content creator, and I would actually shed tears. I'm not crying, but I'm shedding tears as I'm creating it, as I'm editing it. I do all of my work on this channel and on previous channels I've had since 2006. As an editor, as a producer, and even with my soulmate, I have cried during the times that I've missed her, during the times that I've embraced her, and during those times when we made such perfect love together, like a well-oiled machine, as they say, moving in tandem so perfectly. The most beautiful, strongest orgasms ever. It's like a full body experience, but it's also a soul experience. It moves you beyond emotion, energy, and motion. You just reach that next level and you're like, oh my goodness, this is a memory forever. Unforgettable moments of your life. And those are sexual moments also. It's so beautiful. But how are you going to connect with that while you're just chugging that poisonous alcohol, smoking that ridiculous pipe, or cigars or cigarettes? Now you're all jittery, and you're all out of your mind, almost going to pass out because of the alcohol. How ridiculous is that? You see the difference here, people? It's the difference between a garbage can and a recycle bin. For the most part, the recycle bin is squeaky clean, right? It's either paper. It's just, let's say a paper bin. For the sake of being the most just cleanest scenario. Not dirty paper, clean paper. Versus a garbage bin. Anything and everything. Go for the paper bin, people. Seriously. I mean, you have to live as healthy, natural life as possible. Why do you want these substances hindering your potential? your physical, mental, and emotional, and even soul level potential. So, it's already hard enough finding a potential soulmate out there, especially these days. A potential soulmate, it's almost out of the picture for a lot of people. But that doesn't mean impossible. Once you use that word, you're already defeated yourself. She is out there for the men out there, and he is out there for the women out there listening to this. But you have to get your own act together, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And if you don't believe that a soul exists, you're not going to ever reach this soulmate connection. What makes the difference between a robot and a human being? A robot doesn't have a soul. Anybody who says anything contrary, they most likely are on the drugs that I mentioned. So, without further ado, for more information, please read my book and watch my 1-hour video course all about love, both specifically created to guarantee your success if you follow them to the letter. One or both. I recommend both, obviously. So, let's go ahead and check the stream to see the chat. Any sign of intelligent life out there? All right, no sign of intelligent life. So, I'm just going to assume it's through YouTube TV. All right, so hope everybody's going to enjoy their weekend and look forward to the next stream. I know I am. And please take this seriously because it's your life. And I'm living it to the maximum, and I want the same for you. Then we'll have something to really talk about, won't we? All right, much love, everybody.